Welcome to the podcast.
So, Jess and I were listening to episode 5, and we realized that sometimes we say things that we both really understand in the moment, but when we listen back to it a few weeks later, we actually need to explain some things more.
Yeah, we forget about the potential context of others, which is super considerate.
You're not in our brain all the time.
How dare you?
Oh my god.
So this time we were talking about mental constructs. Natana had this really cool realization on the episode saying that there's a difference between mental constructs and mindsets. And I really feel like it's important to have a tangible example of that so we can actually implement what that means and how we make a difference through accessing people's mental constructs versus trying to speak to someone's mindset. It's the point, I think, what I got out of it was that it's way more effective to create change through addressing mental constructs than it is mindsets. So for me, it's really easy to think of a tangible example of a mindset. For example, in psychology, the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. You know, the growth mindset looks at obstacles in terms of, I can't do this yet. But they see that growth, or they believe that their mindset is that growth is possible, that it is not fixed. Whereas the fixed mindset looks at an obstacle and goes, this proves that I can't, and there's no progress possible. What would be an example, Tans, of a mental construct?
So
and the difference?
I think that we need a situation.
Okay.
For us to actually put this into context. So I'm gonna give a situation of a situation in which you want to say something and you're trying to change someone's mind. Yeah, because that's when you need to appeal to them.
Okay.
So let's say pick a social issue for me right now. First thing, top of your mind, go.
Okay, let's just use sexism.
Sexism. Okay, cool. All right, so for sexism, it might be something along the lines of, here I am, this is the perspective. I am this woman in a work situation and there's sexism happening right now in the office, and I'm speaking to another co-worker who doesn't think it's happening.
Yeah.
Who's like, I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So appealing to the mindset would be like, what? You don't believe that all women should have equal rights? That mentality isn't being embodied right now.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but is a construct the cause of a mindset? Potentially. It informs the mindset?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I am trying to convince you and I'm speaking to the reason why it should be important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And I'm saying, no, women deserve equal rights and it's not happening right now, da 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 da. Well, I'm speaking to the mentality. Instead of speaking to the mental constructs, which are the ideas, the history, the everything, all the evidence that has happened in your life that you've witnessed, and all the reasons why this is important to you or not important to you. So it's all of the baggage, in a sense, around your point of view around that thing.
Interesting. So most people are probably unaware of their constructs, even.
Yeah.
Where they come from,
Yeah.
how they're formulated.
Exactly. And that's why I was speaking in the episode about empathy and curiosity and all that. So if I were to approach it from a mental construct point of view, if I was to speak to your mental construct instead of your mentality in this sexist work situation, for example, instead of coming in and speaking to, all women deserve equal rights and it's not happening right now. Well, your mental construct right now is that you don't see evidence of it that supports the current ways in which you are observing and taking in information. It's not fitting into your existing mental constructs. So if I were to speak to your mental constructs to convince you or to show you my perspective, then I would have to get curious and ask you, well, what do you think is happening in the dynamic right now in the situation at work?
Mm-hmm.
I would talk to like a particular event, like let's say something happened and I thought in my head that was clearly sexist, clearly problematic. So I would be like, well, what do you think's happening there? Like when this and this happened and da 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 da. And then getting them to answer that, well then they would say, oh, well, I think that this was this, I don't know, this comment was made because it was just a joke and da 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 da, like whatever. So they start revealing more and more of their mental constructs around it. And it's through speaking to that, being like, oh, well, like let's say the mental construct of this is a joke, so therefore it's socially acceptable. So therefore, anything that is not PC is okay in a joking context. That if it's a joke, it means that it can't offend by definition, because it means that all parties know you're not being serious, so you're off the cuff and you could say whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what that mental construct is revealing.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can speak to that mental construct and explain how, you know, why that is problematic, or how you can't say those kind of things in the name of a joke, and how jokes are damaging, or whatever it is. But now you could speak to that instead of speaking to the mentality that you both on the surface believe in, which is women should have equal rights, women should be respected in the workplace, because from their point of view, they think that that is what's happening, that the woman is being respected. They don't realize that the joke or whatever defies that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they see the evidence elsewhere. And like you said, mental constructs are the frameworks in which you gain evidence to support your mentality.
And another way to put it would be that mindsets are how you view something. It's the evidence of how, and the construct is why that has come about.
Ooh.
Right? So you're digging to the core of the issue. That's really clarified things.
That's so perfect. That's great. Yes. That's great. Okay, well, I hope it helps everyone listening. Actually, I'd be so curious how many people understood what I was saying when I said it in the original episode versus who had to come to this episode to understand it better.
Well, it's interesting. In the moment, it made sense, and then on reflection, I was like, it's not clear. It's not tangible. The way that I would understand those concepts originally is not through those terms and those words.
Mm-hmm.
So you've brought a new way of expressing a concept that I would explain differently normally. And now that's made it super clear. So I appreciate it.
I do have an original way of saying